And it really goes to prove that if you don't measure something, nothing will be done about it.
And we have to make New Jersey's business climate more attractive for entrepreneurs.
We are Wonder Women. Like, look at all these women and what they've done and what they've tried. And even if they didn't succeed, they gave it a shot.
I don't think it's fair to put a $4 or $5 billion price tag on middle-class New Jerseyans.
We've got a great lifestyle here, and I don't want to see it ruined because politicians can't manage our finances properly.
Welcome. I'm Lisa Allen, and this is As a Matter of Fact. We are filming from HTTV Studios in Summit, New Jersey. Thank you for joining me today. Today's show is part of a series that focuses on women leaders in government and politics. As more women are running for office and becoming more involved in civil service, I wanted to seek out and highlight women leaders who are making their mark in various positions across all levels of government. That ranges from local city government, county government, the state government, nonprofits, and even academia. Today, I'm thrilled to interview two sets of guests. First, we're focusing on local government, and then we're going to move over to the nonprofit world. My first guest is Rosemary Licatese, who has worked within the City of Summit for nearly 30 years. Since 2014, she has been Summit's beloved city clerk and is considered one of the highest ranking positions in city government. Thank you for joining me today.
Thank you, Lisa, for having me.
How does it sound when I say one of the highest ranking positions?
I don't know. It's kind of surreal.
Yeah.
Especially from where I began to now. It's been quite a journey.
I know. I'm excited for you to share that with our audience because, and the reason why I asked that question is this is really about women leaders in government and politics. And I think we've said it before, but women tend to shy away from hearing that they're in certain power positions or positions of influence. Yes. And so I want you to come here today and share your story to inspire other women. So before we do, I want you to share your story, kind of how you got into city government. You've been in city government almost 30 years.
Almost 30 years.
And I'm sure it's changed, right?
Yeah, it has changed. So, you know, it was a desire to get back into the workforce. I had two children, although they were young. And of course, there was some need for financial, increases in finances. It just encouraged me. But I did it thoughtfully. I wanted something, of course, close to home, but also I wanted to be something I would enjoy. So having my secretarial background and loving my town, which I grew up here, I went to schools here. So I thought it would be wonderful if I could work for municipal government, City Hall. That's how I referred to it as. And on a dare, I applied. And within 2 weeks, I had a job offer, an entry-level clerical position. I was very comfortable with it. And it just got my feet wet again, just getting back into the workforce and the scheduling and just the routine of things. And I started in the Department of Community Services.
And that still exists
yes.
today,
Oh,
right?
yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I worked for the Division of Public Works as their secretary, focusing on that. I backed up the other divisions within that department. But I enjoyed it right off the bat.
Wow. Were you surrounded by other women at the time? Because now we're talking
mostly clerical.
Oh, okay.
Mostly clerical positions. There were a couple of women in higher positions there. Our zoning officer, who's still our zoning officer, Krista Anderson. And I understand, when we have casual conversations, she started probably a year before I did. And so she was a higher ranking position. And I believe our municipal court administrator. Those were the only two positions that I know of or I can recall that had females in position. Now we've got our city treasurer. We've got a chief communications officer. We have
a female mayor.
A female mayor. We've had. I started with a female mayor, Janet Whitman, but that has interchanged maybe once or twice. Actually, Walter Long and Jordan were in between the other women that became mayors. But mostly we were in the lower level positions.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, and let's talk about the structure of city clerk, because I don't think a lot of people understand the scope of work that you do and how you have different types of reporting lines, because you actually report to the administrator.
Correct.
So that's a hard functional line.
Yes.
And then you also, I don't know if you really report, but you work with the elected body, which is the
Yes.
council and the mayor.
Yes.
And then you also have some liaising with the county government and
Correct.
elected officials. So can you talk a little bit about what you do, how that all works, and how you even keep it all straight some days?
Well, it takes years of experience for sure. But yeah, I'm technically the city clerk is the secretary to the mayor and council. And so I'm involved in preparing meetings, giving guidance to elected officials when they solicit it, and just making sure that the meetings run smoothly and that they have what they need in order to take the actions that are necessary to run the government. I work closely with the city administrator, as you said. I get guidance from him, he gets guidance from me, and we kind of work together to run things, let's say.
Right.
Of course, I answer to him. Other parts of my job, a big part of it is elections. I'm the elections coordinator for the city, which means that months in advance of any election, I'm preparing already. I'm working with the county, advising them of petitions that have been received, preparing for voter registration drives, and actually expediting election day, and overseeing the polling places, making sure everything is running properly, that the poll workers are doing what they're supposed to be doing, that the election process is running smoothly.
Right.
So,
Well, and the election process has changed probably, I would assume it's changed quite a bit over the years. Or not really?
not necessarily the procedure, but one of the processes that I kind of miss was the pomp and circumstance that we used to have for voter registration. You know, when someone turned 18, it was a big deal. You came to City Hall, you came to the city clerk's office, we had a great big ledger, and you said, I want to register to vote. And we'd open up this great big book, and we'd write their name down, they'd sign it, and it was a real ceremonial feel to
experience.
it. Yeah. Now, when someone wants to register to vote, we hand them a form, a postage paid form, and they say, just send it in. And I kind of miss that. But most of the processes are relatively the same.
Yeah.
You know, we receive petitions, they have to be submitted a certain way by the candidates who are running for office. I report those results to the county, and then the county prepares for the ballot for the June primary and then for the November election. So those things stay the same.
Yeah, when you work with the county, how does that operate? Is there any reporting line to the county, or is it more of a partnership?
We certainly take guidance from the county. They are the lead, and we, follow their lead.
Okay.
But, they work very closely with us, and they're very open to suggestions, on how to transfer information to them. I'm proud to say that when we would prepare our report, if you will, of candidates that were coming into office in June, there was a specific form that they would provide us with. And they say, here, please fill this out. Well, it was on the typewriter. And so we took the initiative in our office. Yeah. But we took the initiative to make it an electronic document. We created the document in our Word file, and shortly after we developed that, the county realized that we did it that way and called us and said, would you mind if we used your form in place of the paper form that we use? And so our form is the one that all the municipalities in the county use now.
That's incredible.
To file their candidate report.
Well, I feel like you've always kind of been on the precipice of technology. Weren't you the one a couple years ago who drove that process of, you were doing electronic documents, or right? Do you want to talk a little bit about that?
Yes. We have a digital system where we scan all our permanent records. And we took steps many years ago to have it certified by the state so that we could use these documents in a legal court of law if we had to. They are the equivalent of the original legal document. because we are state certified. So that has helped us in many areas. You know, we have these records at our fingertips at all times. You know, many times the public or even departments will contact us and say, I need a copy of a resolution or ordinance from 15 years ago. Do you have it? And all it takes is a few keystrokes, and we're able to produce the record and provide it to whoever needs it. And so it's been a real tool. It's helped us be a little bit more efficient, and I love it.
Wow.
And we use it every day.
Yeah. Do you find that other towns have that, or were you just...
We were
like,
one of
people
the first
Yeah.
municipalities to do that, especially in the county. I can't speak for the state. I really don't know.
Right.
But in the county, we were one of the first. And I know that some of the municipalities in our county have contacted me and asked me how we went through the procedure, because they wanted to get on board with it. And, you know, whether they've done it or not, I'm not sure. I know New Providence has. So
there it is.
it's been nice.
I have to tell you, I don't think people have a true appreciation for the scope of work that City Hall does, including the clerk. I mean, you guys help with the marriages, you know, you do help people get married, you help with the council meetings. Everything that happens around town really runs through City Hall. What advice, because I feel like we're already running out of time. I can't believe this, I know. But it goes so fast, doesn't it?
It does.
What advice would you give to young women who are interested in transitioning into city government? Because if you look around, there are a lot of women running for office and trying to get into government. What advice would you give them with your wealth of experience?
Well, I just say, you know, you have to start with loving what you do. And if you do have a true passion for doing a job well and wanting to help the public and just maybe even learning about yourself and learning about your own government, it's a great place to be. I mean, you're going to interact with taxpayers, with visitors to our town, which is very important to be. You know, the city clerk's office is one of the first counters and departments people go to when they come to Summit. And I can't tell you how many times people say, you know, what a great town. I can't believe, you know, you guys are so helpful. We're thinking about moving here. And it's a good feeling. And we take care of our residents. You know, we're the first department they see. We want to give that good impression. So anybody, you know, there's nothing that we women can't do. We just have to have that confidence to say, yeah, I want to try that. And I want to do that. So I encourage everybody to try it.
Oh, thank you so much for coming on. Before you run, just let people know where they can volunteer, what the website is, and how to find you.
So cityofsummit.org. If you just put in a keyword for volunteer application, you get the application, you fill it out online, and then you just send it electronically to me at rlicatese@cityofsummit.org. I will take it, we'll process it. We always acknowledge all volunteer applications. You may not get appointed immediately, but we want you to know we appreciate your interest. We're going to send you an acknowledgement of that. And if you hear soon after that maybe we have an opening, we'll call you.
It's a place to start.
Yeah, it sure is.
Oh, thank you so much for coming on today.
You're very welcome. Thank you for having me.